Hello, it's day 47 of the hike, September 4th. We're hiking out of Etna around midday. Yesterday didn't go exactly as planned. We had some high hopes to potentially get in and out of Etna the same day. I got there a little bit earlier than Evan, and before I even got there, I managed to lose my debit card, and that changed plans. So, not sure exactly how it happened, but one way or the other, it resulted in us needing to stay the night in Etna, and me arranged to have a new debit card sent forward to another town. Might be. This is an extremely unexpected place to see Toyota Prius. I mean, there's a dirt road here, but dang. Someone has confidence in their Prius. I mean, maybe this should change my opinion of Priuses. Morning, it's September 5th, day 48 of the hike. We're shooting for about 31 miles today. Starting off in a burn area. Should be out of it in about 5 miles or so though. We're climbing up Mount Scott. We're hoping to get some views of Mount Shasta. We don't hike directly on or up Mount Shasta. PCT stays a little away from it, but it's a beautiful mountain, so we've heard, 14,000 foot peak. And we have yet to really have good views of it. I think because of the haze that's been lingering for days now because of the local fires. Today, fortunately, it seems to be starting out a little bit clear, so maybe we'll get ourselves some views today. Started off a little bit later than I had hoped this morning because we had a tiny bit of cell service where we camped, which was extremely shocking. It seemed like the middle of nowhere. And I managed to order my ski pass for the upcoming season. Couldn't miss that. I've got a really neat little, say, botanical observation here next to the spring. All of these, there's so many of them here, these are all pitcher plants. So these are carnivorous plants. It's really cool. I mean, this is a very kind of arid desert-like environment, which is where you might find them, but these little caps or hoods over top of the plant contain this part in the center that has a really sticky substance, and insects will wander up under the hood and into the inside of the plant and get stuck there. This is a pleasant little surprise. Whatever trail crew cleared this tree decided to provide a seat. This is a true rarity out here. I will probably sit here for 30 seconds and enjoy it. It is, once again, brutally hot out today. Just got out of a really exposed area, back into some larger forest here with a little bit of shade and respite from the heat. I probably drank, I'd say, at least 5 to 6 liters of water already today. It's crazy. It makes hiking so much harder. Just crossed a small dirt road here. I almost fell in my tracks when I saw these. Always gets me every time. Totally unexpected. Nectar of the gods. Oh my goodness. Been told there are rattlers in this area. This is my first encounter with one. He is just a little guy, thank goodness. But I won't scare him too bad. He's probably not more than a foot long, but he was basking on trail, even though there's no sun. Glad I didn't step on him. Just installed this cute little leaf spout to make a previously almost uncollectible source, somewhat collectible, in case someone else is in need of cold water at this time. I love this. At some point, someone converted a broken trekking pole into a water spout this spring. You don't always know what campsites we elect for on the app are gonna look like at the end of the day. We usually try to go based off of comments and things. This isn't the most sheltered place to camp, but it's certainly an extremely pretty place to camp. So, the sun just went down over the horizon. Beautiful sunset, very colorful. And so that's due west, and we've got a great view due east with the top of Shasta out there as well, so we should have a great sunrise. You can even actually see down into a little valley below us here. This lake's called Bull Lake. There's a herd of cows on the left. You can hear their bells going as they're moving around. The farmers and ranchers have bells on them, since these are free-range cattle, I guess, to help figure out where they are when they come searching for them. Morning, it's September 6th, day 49 of the hike. Just mixing up a bottle of hydration mix. It's been really hot the past couple days, and having some extra electrolytes has been important throughout the day. So we camped up top last night here, this pass, with a great sunrise and sunset. However, it was extremely windy here last night. It was a real pain in the butt. Kind of regret sleeping here, actually. It was so windy for probably a matter of like 3 to 4 hours. We barely slept. It was ripping our tent stakes out of the ground. So a little rough, but we did 31 miles yesterday. Full day today, and then half day into Mount Shasta tomorrow. If you did notice in the video here, I got some new socks. I'm very proud of these socks. The story behind these go, Darn Tough, which are the ones that have a lifetime warranty. They make like a heavyweight, a midweight, and a lightweight sock, and as hot as it is out here, and as sweaty as my feet are, I like the lightweight ones. So I went in with holes in my old ones to get them replaced for free, which is a great thing about Darn Tough. And they didn't have any lightweight men's socks in medium. So a women's large is exactly the same size. So I opted for that sweet bunny pattern. Finally saw my first bear on trail. I've been part of 3 bear spookings thus far and have not seen one. Yesterday I finally did spook one and realized it. Heard a loud crashing go down through the woods, but didn't see anything. Just about 15 minutes ago, Evan and I were walking. Same sound again. Sudden loud crashing downhill through the woods. I looked and I saw a pretty large kind of mocha brown colored bear. So here in California they range anywhere from black to light brown to dark brown. But I think they say there's a lot of mocha bears in this area. So it's a pretty big bear. Made a loud crashing noise. Just saw a glimpse of it. But I mean, generally we're happy that the bears are afraid and scared of us in this area. That means that they're not very conditioned to, or acclimated to people. Now, Shasta has been evading us for the past couple days, mostly through some haze that's obscured our views, but we're getting a great view here for the first time. It's a 14er, 14,179 feet. Typically snow-capped this time of the year, but I think it's been a pretty warm year. And it's very large. As always, camera perspective doesn't quite do it justice. Big guy. Not a whitetail, a blacktail, but first mature buck we've seen out here. Evan and I almost walked right past this trail magic. It was a slightly covert here. Thank goodness we did. And we were even warned about these. We would have been really sad if we were walking all day and didn't find them. But nice early morning Gatorade. Definitely not going to turn it down. And there's a privy ahead, which is another form of trail magic. It's nice of someone to leave a little reading material here in this privy. This trailhead is apparently 15 miles from the nearest neighborhood, but yeah, they left a Mountain Gear magazine from 2011. Better than nothing for a little toilet reading. You're in a dry desert climate when you have little wild succulents growing. Now this just might be the highest rate of trail magic I've ever experienced in one day. The third one. Oh my gosh. So happy right now. Really amazing view of a rock outcropping they call Castle Crag. So we're actually within the Castle Crag wilderness, but you can see, even from this distance, there's just giant spires of rock that look like parapets almost, something like out of Lord of the Rings, like Gondor or something. A lesson about camping at exposed sites last night, where the howling winds kept us up all night, but this is such a spectacular spot. We won't be staying here, but you have just unimpeded views of Castle Crag and Shasta from one place. Really a gorgeous spot. I have reception at our campsite tonight, so I'm live streaming the US Open.
Water bottles there. You can see they're still mopping up.
Didn't expect to have this stuff to be out here.
This is the first one.
Good morning. It's day 50, September 7th. So we'll say the day of my name, I guess, at least going by trail names. We did 31 miles yesterday into a really nice little secluded campsite. After our previous night's windy disaster and minimal sleep. Really nice spot last night, lots of wind protection, and not something I usually do on trail, but really good cell service, and the US Open happens to be going on right now. So I ended up watching the last 3 sets of the night match between Nick Kyrgios and Karen Khachanov, quarterfinals of the US Open last night. So that was awesome. I watched the whole way through to the 5th set. It's funny though, I had to have my phone propped up in a very specific position on this tree that was about 6 feet high. So I couldn't sit. There's nowhere to sit. I didn't have any chairs. So I had to stand after walking 31 miles for the final 3 sets of the match. Fortunately, Kyrgyz is a pretty quick server. Pretty fast-paced match, but it's probably like still 2 hours. But obviously, I miss watching tennis, so it was worth it. Kyrgyz did lose, which, I never really feel one way or the other about his performances. Win or loss, that is, but I do like watching him. He's an entertainer. So anyhow, that was a tennis rant. We're hiking about 15 miles this morning to Interstate 5. And then we're going to try to get a hitch into Mount Shasta. We've got ourselves an extreme rarity out here. It's actually raining, and real rain droplets. Actually pretty refreshing right now.
Okay. It might not rain at all, you know, it's just spotty today.
This is the California version of Sunnywald, or Sonawald, Mom. Cool little town called Mount Shasta. Mountain views here. This is the best selection of disc I've ever seen. Mount Shasta is the first town we've been in on the entire trail. They actually have proper chains. There's a Starbucks and a Burger King in town. Last we had any proper chain was Wenatchee, which was a big town we drove through to get to the northern terminus. Ate at a Jack in the Box. Hello, it's September 8th, day 51 on trail. In the middle of a 3,500 foot climb up from the trail junction with Interstate 5. So last night we did about 15 miles to the interstate. And then we got a ride from a trail angel into the very charming town of Mount Shasta. I had lunch with a couple other SOBOs, Frank and Kelly, who we've spent some time with on trail. We love hanging out with. Got a swap of socks. I had holes in another pair of Darn Toughs at a small outfitters in town, and then stayed, called a bus actually to the really tiny town of Dunsmuir, near to the trail. Stayed the night there. It's a cute little motel, pretty retro. Got to hop in their pool in the afternoon. Even got to watch US Open quarterfinal last night between Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. Great match. It's a good night. So we're set up now to do 90 miles into the next town of Burney. We've been hoping to push the pace through Northern California. We're not going slow. I'll still be doing close to 30-mile days between here and there, but we're gonna probably have to take a partial day again into Burney and likely stay the night because I somehow managed swallowed bug. Somehow managed to lose my debit card in the last town of Etna. So I've had that sent forward to Burney. Hopefully it'll be there. All right. Love this little reporting station from California Fish and Game. It's asking anglers at Squaw Valley Creek, which is just below, which we just found trail match at, that I'll show you, to just do a general report of their fishing experience, number of fish caught, size of fish caught. It's kind of a cool idea because it looks like they're attempting to manage and restore these waters to a more productive wild trout habitat. So our guide had advised us about there being trail magic at this site, just a little bit off trail. And this is some well-organized trail magic. So there's water, can opener, cold drinks stored in the creek, kind of in a little rock basket. There are cans of pineapple, sauerkraut, Vienna sausage, spaghetti, and meatballs. This is awesome. It's not often this organized, especially when it's unmanned. And such a variety of snacks. There's gummies, dried fruit, various chips, bars. It's got ibuprofen in here in case you need it, pudding cups. This is awesome. Thought you might appreciate this, Jacob. I haven't had Nutella yet on trail, but this is some high-class magic right here. Morning, it's September 9th, day 52. Walking through a pretty buggy area here, so I'm all geared up with a bug net this morning. It's pretty warm out already. We did get a pretty early start, about 6:30. Yesterday we did about 20 miles out of Dunsmuir. Had a pretty nice day actually. We found some really good trail magic under a bridge. Went for a swim in a great swimming hole with a good rock to jump off of. So washed the sweat off for the day. And stayed at a campsite, plenty of space with Frank and Kelly. We're probably going to be on the same schedule as them to the next town of Burney. Doing about 28 today is the goal. Some big climbs. We did about 1,100 foot climb already this morning, and then we have a 5,000 foot climb. Now it's staggered out over about 12 miles, but still a big climb nonetheless. We're way up in the mountains, kind of descending down into a deep valley right now to our next water source. It feels good in the forest with the shade. Sometimes you get your pretty views and sights when you go up on ridge tops and things like that. But on a hot day like this, I appreciate being in nice dense forest like this, shaded and away from the heat. Listening to Harry Potter today. Going back to my roots. I've been listening to a lot of history podcasts, Spotify when I have service, some music, and some denser audiobooks. So I'm enjoying the lighter book and the nostalgia. Almost stepped on this little fella. I haven't seen a big one yet. This is the second little rattlesnake I've seen. But, whew, I jumped about a foot in the air when I saw him coiled up. So I had read beforehand that the privy here at this trailhead, which is really isolated, is no longer maintained by the National, I guess, Forest Service. And some of the other hikers had warned in our guide that it's a bit of a exotic wild privy. So there's bees' nest, and it's obviously has not been cleaned for a while, but it's still much less work than digging a cat hole. The other exotic part about this privy is that there are bats living in it. Kind of cute little bugger. So I just got to a creek here where I'm going to take a break for lunch. I've yet to see a large live rattlesnake, but here in the creek is a fairly large dead one, which is interesting. I don't know if someone had an encounter with one here, and the rattlesnake lost the battle, or what the deal is, but I'm going to keep my eye out. So this is a very neat tree. I still have yet to learn my West Coast tree species. It's huge, and you can see the massive hollow space in the center of the tree. It must have survived forest fire at some point, but let's see if this is big enough for me to fit into. Really Brings back memories of My Side of the Mountain by Gene Craig Hicks George. When the boy makes a home in a hollow tree in the Catskills. Hey! Hey! So I just had my first, I'll say, significant bear encounter. I've seen some bears running off, but I got a tiny little bit of footage of it. I don't know how well you can see it, but I came around a corner and there's a black bear immediately ahead of me at the sign to the spring. It's called Deer Creek Spring. And he was up on 2 feet, scratching his back on the sign. I watched for a little while. And then he just kind of slowly got down and he wasn't going anywhere, so I just kind of said, "Hey bear." Tried to look big and he just slowly sauntered off to the side of the trail. So I'm gonna get some water and take my time going back there. He didn't seem to care too much that I was around or show any aggression. So that was probably my most interesting bear encounter yet. Great view this afternoon, and nice to see that there's not a whole lot of haze and no smoke on the horizon. Morning, September 9th, day 53 of our hike. I did about 28 miles yesterday. Yesterday was the most berry day I've had on trail. Saw one scratching his back on a post by the trail. That one wasn't particularly afraid of people, it seemed. And after that, I actually spooked 3 bear. I only got a good glimpse of the one, but there's a very, very characteristic sound when you spook a bear. It literally sounds like a train rolling down the mountain, just crashing through things. So it was kind of neat. There's a lot of bear in Northern California. Most of them are scared of people, it seems. So that's good. We're gonna do about another 20, between 27 and 29 today. And then tomorrow we'll make it into Burney for our resupply and a rest. I think Northern California really is much prettier than some hikers give it credit for. We're heading up to that ridge this morning. Well, this certainly complicates things a little bit. It's like a logging operation just plowed through here, and I hope that these ribbons are indicating where the trail is, because otherwise I have absolutely no idea where it is. We do have a GPS thing, but a little tricky. Sometimes in these drier sections, the water options come down to something like this, which I'm not really so sure is anything more than a stagnant pool. Some tadpoles in. So this is when you might decide to stretch the good water that you do have. You guys blowing air horn. All right, we need apparently an official transport across this bridge, or escort, but we're doubtful we're gonna get one on a Sunday.
Show Evan.
Oh, that's not gonna work. It's like people had too much fun with the air horn.
Sorry, that's okay.
Bummer. Looks like we'll just have to walk across, or see if anyone's in that tinted vehicle. I think the shad would just get pulverized in that. So this is Lake Britton Dam on the Pitt River. This is a hydroelectric station. Morning, it's September 11th, day 54 of the hike. Hiked about 6 miles already this morning across Lake Britton Dam, and we're here at Burney Falls State Park. So I can hear the waterfall, we haven't seen it yet, but we're gonna check it out. There's a little visitor center here, maybe get a snack, and then we're gonna be going into town later today. Definitely one of the prettier waterfalls we've seen on the trail here. It has almost a curtain of water just seeping out of the bedrock around the falls. Try to get a little bit closer. It's really a very beautiful waterfall. You can see where streams of kind of curtaining water is just coming out of the cliff. There's some plaques here that describe why that's happening. There's a really solid layer of cemented bedrock there, and then everything above it is softer. And somewhere upstream from here, there's a large source of water from Burney Mountain that seeps underground and seeps out at this point. So we're staying here at the Burney Motel, and a lot of businesses put together hiker boxes for the hikers. And here they have a hiker pantry, which is all food. We just found a lot of great food that other hikers have left behind because they've had extra this entire bag. So we'll save a lot of money at the grocery store. And then they have this hiker box full of hygiene products, which we very much need right now, and other extra things. There's Chinese on trail. Super excited.
You can be frank, I'll be sure.
Didn't expect to be bowling on this trip.